Welcome to Even Thursday. We're like a beer-soaked puzzle. You are definitely feel like you're being ruined by listening to us, but you're still determined to finish it nonetheless, and you'll probably have to throw it out afterwards. I'm Kevin.
Man, you suck. I'm so upset about this puzzle. And I'm Rob. It was a good puzzle, and man, do puzzle pieces love drinking beer. It absorbed quicker than I could paper towel it.
Yeah.
You suck.
What? Hey, listen.
I'm so upset.
I'm sorry about your puzzle, Rob. It just, it was a very opportune moment. I thought it rolled very well. We are, if anything, something that you're determined to finish, even if you're going to suffer through it along the way. So I thought it fit our brand pretty well.
Yeah, that's fair. It'll probably take you longer than you were hoping.
Yeah.
It'll be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're going to be at it for hours. You're going to wonder, what is this? For a while.
Hey, sometimes, metaphors or analogies just kind of fall into place, some might say. Sometimes they're, things happen and they're just, I have all these thoughts. Some of them just spill out, some might say.
He just thinks he's punning or something,
I'm sorry. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
That was really bad.
Yeah, I know. But
not even because of the circumstance. They were just bad puns.
I know. It was great. And it actually is kind of somewhat tangentially a little bit related to what we're talking about.
Oh, boy. Okay.
When you think of puns, when you think of that type of humor, what do you often think about? Like, what comes to mind? We'll start there. We're going to build the premise.
Kevin?
What?
Are you a father?
No. That wasn't what I was going for, but no, that's not, like, we're gonna keep building from there, right? Okay? I don't think so.
Would you?
I would be shocked. Like, there would...
Me too!
Like, I don't know how.
Well, you see, Kevin...
Unless there was something that's been hidden from me for years that I was just unaware of.
Oh.
Like, maybe, but I don't think so. God, I hope not. But I was... Okay, dad jokes. Dad jokes, right? Dad humor. Right? Dads being individuals who are slightly older than we are, right?
I guess.
Some of them are younger than we are, that's a whole other topic. We're not getting there.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah.
But, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea of being older, aging, is really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about...
I thought you were not about dad jokes?
No, it's not about dad jokes.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a very slightly mildly tangential point related at best.
About, you're trying to get me to talk about us getting older?
I want to talk about aging.
Oh, goddamn.
I want to talk about...
My back already hurts.
I want to talk about hopefully the way down the line stuff, right?
Ooh, okay. Hopefully.
Right?
Sure.
You never know.
Right? You never know.
Like, life is mysterious and...
Comes at you fast.
Wonderful and horrifying. Uh-huh. There's a lot of crazy shit that happens in life.
Occasionally, yeah.
Right? But hopefully, if all things go seemingly well, we'll last for a little while, at least.
Kevin, I was already told. I've gone to physical therapy for a back issue that I had apparently caused in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get through the freaking 6 weeks of physical therapy, and they're like, well, your insurance is not going to cover you anymore because you're saying that you're doing too well on these forms we keep having you fill out. And I was like, shit.
Well, you gotta lie.
And they're like, yeah, just remember, you will always be a back patient. I'm like, I'm not even 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to talk about aging. But really, I wanted to talk about potentially maybe the darker side of it, depending on how you how you view things potentially, right?
Okay.
Like get into like potentially the fear of aging, and really the overall question being like, what do you think is the worst way that you could end up?
Oh God.
Like, yeah, like what is your vision? The thing that you worry about the most,
I,
or like the thing that you that yeah you know
are we going personal you or like big you?
um either. I mean,
Okay. All right.
we could start personal you and then just think about other ideas. We can do the reverse of that, however you want to do it.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, I want to talk about aging, fear of aging, and potentially the crazy like insane things that may happen to us or states that we may end up in. Um, and it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be cheery or fun, but it's interesting and worrisome. And I think, if anything, I kind of just want to talk this out with you. So I thought the podcast would be a great place to do it.
Jeez, Kev. All right. So, for starters, um, I only partially think about this
Okay.
in the sense that this is gonna sound weird. When I was like 12, I had this premonition that I'd be dead at a young age.
Okay, we're gonna delve a little bit more into that, but
Like I don't know why. It wasn't like a depressed thing. It was just like, I'm probably gonna be dead by like 18. And so I'm well past.
you're doing great.
I'm well past that. And I'm just kind of here now, and I'm like, well, huh. I really thought that for some reason I wasn't gonna be here still. So it makes this odd thing of like, how far in the future do you think? But I'm still here, so I'm acting like I'm gonna last for a while, I guess.
You should act like you're gonna last for a while. I mean, we don't know, but
No, obviously we don't know. I guess.
But I think we're at a stage in our lives where we should act like we still have time. I don't think we should allow,
Well, but at the same time, it's a little freeing, right? I mean, at this point, I'm nearly 11 years past when I thought I'd be dead.
Okay,
I'm doing pretty well.
Fair. Fair. You're not dead.
I'm not dead.
So, yeah. Would you ever want to be immortal?
Okay, so my
kind of related, kind of not related. Just
kind of related,
but...
kind of not related. My other biggest fantasy, when people are like, "Oh, what superpower do you want?" Which obviously, given my interests, I think about from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I walk around and think about the most, it's like shing, just Wolverine claws. I've always wanted. Like, it'd be cool to have Wolverine's powers, including the fact that he just doesn't die.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the whole thing about, Wolverine's story is it's tortured. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's not good. Nobody actually wants to be alive that long. You watch everybody die around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, because at the same time, I've still kept with, it'd be pretty cool, huh? But at this, but it's like, I hear it's bad.
Yeah, I
But I guess the optimistic thing with being immortal in a Wolverine-like situation is that you're also in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Because if you're just immortal in the sense that you can't die, but you're still aging, that sounds awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to get to 150 and be decrepit as shit and just not able to die.
Right.
That sounds bad.
Right. Well, yes and no, because I think we're going to get to a point where science will be able to have us keep our bodies at a Wolverine-like state for extended periods of time.
Kevin, we probably should have already been able to be at that point, But the issue is that scientific advancements don't surpass people's greed and ability to say, "Ha, look at all them poor people dying."
Yes, capitalism sucks. I agree. Um, I think if we were in a different economic system and we actually cared about the citizens and we didn't have such a wide separation of the wealthy few and the normal everyday person, um, then yeah, we may already have that technology.
Or at least closer.
But I still think in our lifetime we will reach a point where you can pay a shit ton of money
Mm-hmm.
to have nanobots put in you and to keep yourself repaired. I think it's going to be too late for us. I still want to do it. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but like, you know, like I'm all in on the like the technocracy kind of stuff. Like I think, you know, it's really cool. I'm okay with bionic eyes. You know what I mean? Like to be able to have improved vision and not have to worry about wearing glasses, or like I don't know, to have my cells be prepared by miniature robots, so that way I don't have to worry about like aches and pains or like kind of shit like that.
No, it would.
And I do think we're too late, right? I think we'll be probably at a point in our lives where it wouldn't make sense because our bodies will already be in a state where if all they could do is maintain it, it wouldn't be worth maintaining.
Okay. Like they'd have to somehow reverse age first and
right.
then maintain us.
Right. Which I don't think there's any way in hell we're going to get to that.
Right.
I think maintenance is possible. But like it won't make sense for us at that point, I don't think. If we want to, I still might think about it. But
so have you ever played or maybe watched a playthrough of the newer Deus Ex games?
I think I saw a speed run of one of them.
That's not going to give you.
It's not. No, it's not.
No.
It's not going to give me what you're looking for.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Really cool game, story-based game. Decisions matter. One of the overall themes of that game is it gets to a point in the not so far but kind of far future where things like what you're talking about, robotic eyes, enhancements to different parts of the body are just like literally just for
like, everyday people.
It's like quality of life sort of stuff. Of course, the game goes a little further, and you can make your arm a freaking gun and stuff.
Sure,
but like overall, the society that you're operating in is that they got the quality of life stuff. And the theme is that, okay, well, the wealthy have the quality of life stuff and they're doing fine. Most people's bodies are rejecting it, and the medicine that is given to help people take those enhancements is controlled by the wealthy, and therefore, if the poor people who got hurt now need these enhancements, they're suffering.
So it was a commentary on our healthcare system.
Yeah, a bit, actually. As well as a whole bunch of other stuff that's like a minor part of the game.
Sure.
But it's like, okay, well, what if we get to that point and we can have those things, and it's just another way to kind of...
gatekeep.
Yeah.
Which it will.
I'm being very negative. I'm not really hoping to progress the narrative here.
No, which is why, I mentioned offhandedly that, yeah, I think if we were in a different society based around a different economic system, things would be different. and we, there may be less class stratification. But we don't live in that world. So there is a huge separation of wealth, and wealth inequality is off the charts. So yes, I don't think it's a pessimistic view. I think given the modern society, it's a realistic view. It's just an expansion of what we're seeing now into the future. If that doesn't change, I agree.
Hopefully it does.
That'd be nice, right? Nice. That'd be nice. I like something different.
Yeah,
there's so many people that are getting fucked over right now.
Yeah, it'd be cool if, like, instead of focusing on brainwashing kids and any adolescents who know, or people who know how to use phones, and or progressing a racist agenda, if we could just focus on actually helping people, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we can't do that though.
No,
because
it doesn't happen.
Big media, who's owned by big corporations, which all gets their funding from big oil, does not want us to do that. So once we get the Koch brothers on our side, then we might have a shot. Until then, sorry. I think we're fucked. Damn. That wasn't the point of what we were talking about, though.
No, I know. I've turned it into a topic that I know you'd love to talk about for a while.
That's okay. Yeah, so, like, I think going back a little bit, if we do get to the point where we can maintain wherever we are currently with technology.
Okay.
Currently, I still lean towards yes, I would want to take it. But...
And we're talking about, like, the quality of life enhancements. We're not talking about just existing and living longer.
No. I'm thinking base. I'm thinking
base.
Keep my heart functioning.
Okay.
Keep my brain functioning.
Got it.
Keep my blood flowing through my body. Like, keep all my essential organs going and my cells prepared.
Do you need all of them? It couldn't just be like Futurama heads in jars.
I need all of them. I don't want to be a head in a jar.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm just trying to,
I want a body. If it's not skin and blood, that's okay. But, like, I want a body.
So cyborg is fine.
Yeah. Depends on, like, how much. I think this is where my line would draw. I don't think I'd ever want to cross over to being more machine than man, right? Like, I'd want to stay, like...
Is it a solid 50% or
51?
Well, okay. It could be like 45, but, like, the important parts are still there.
Like, I'd want to be at least 51% human. At least 51% human.
Okay.
It could be 60% human. That's fine. It could be 49% robot, or technology, or whatever, or cyborg, whatever, right? Whatever the word we end up using.
Yeah, Kevin's a robot.
But I still want more human than robot. Like, I think that might be a snag for me.
Yeah, because you're already a robot.
No. Not yet. And I don't want to cross that border.
Sure.
But, I think, as I was saying, I don't think I would. I'm unclear if I would want the maintenance, because all, like, from all the media I've consumed, from, like, seeing people age, at some point, like, you want to die, right? Like, I feel like you get old enough, you get to a point where, maybe not want, maybe the desire isn't there, but but, like, there's an acceptance, at least. It's like, if, like, I feel like you get to a point where it's like, if I die tomorrow, I would be okay with the life I lived.
So
I could be wrong, but
this reminds me, and this might be relevant, it might not be relevant, of a topic that actually came up today at work, because we talk about a lot of nonsense in between actually working.
Fair.
And it's like the idea of, time moves really fast, right? But it moves potentially faster the longer you live.
I have an idea on that, but yes, please go on.
And so, like, if we live, just if the longer this gets extended, the quicker, and it's like, okay, these days aren't anything because I'm living that much longer, right? It's kind of like the whole elves versus dwarves thing. It's like, they didn't realize that this much time has passed. That
Yeah.
they've missed these things.
Yep. In Tolkien lore, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you were specifically referencing.
I was referencing Rings of Power.
Yes, Rings of Power. Yes. Yes. Okay.
And for humans, it's tough because time, as we understand it, may or isn't necessarily a thing. It's literally because we're aging for reasons we don't know that time seems to be passing, and as we get older, we seem less and less capable. And it's not even just physically. I mean, at some point, we haven't figured out how to get our brains to stop crapping out.
Right.
And so, regardless of being able to fix the quality of life things, it's going to be tough if we don't figure out how to fix Alzheimer and dementia. Because that's just your brain crapping out.
Yep.
That's just your brain crapping out.
Yep. Which, so, I have a theory, untested, unproven,
Obviously.
But I have a theory that the reason that we think time goes quicker as we age is actually because our brain is getting worse at processing the things that are happening around us. So like we're paying less attention to what's happening around us, so we're getting less stimuli, and because of that, the ones that we are getting, we are paying more attention to and focusing more on, so it draws our attention away from how much time is actually passing. I have no idea. It's completely just an idea that I just had.
I have a counterpoint.
Okay.
We have discussed many times, and we often joke, people are just really good at picking up patterns. Yes. So what if we aren't actually recognizing anything? We're just making it up because humans really love making patterns of things.
Mm-hmm.
What if instead time moves faster because we've experienced more things, and so if we do redundant things, we aren't spending as much thought process on it. So because our body's just recognizing the same pattern we've already experienced, we're not perceiving it as the same amount of slowed time. For instance,
I don't think that's a counterpoint. I think it's just a different perspective that can still prove my theory.
I don't know. Because I don't think it's... I think it's just that we're recognizing the same patterns over and over again. Like, I don't know the number of times where I've watched a show and it felt like it took forever, or a game or book, and it's like, okay, that felt like that was a really important point. And then you go back and rewatch and it was like a minute's worth of media. And you're like, wow. I hope you got that was important as I thought it was the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, at this point you were already used to it. So it's just going forward. Like if you experience less of the same patterns, if you keep switching things, then does time still pass as quickly? Or are you actually still just learning and experiencing new things? So it's not going any quicker. It's less mundane.
Counterpoint. Okay. Not related so much to time passage, but to the recognition of pattern, and specifically on that point of the example you brought up of watching something another time.
Sure.
Rewatching something for a second time, you often pick up on things that you missed on your first watch.
I agree, but there's still less.
So you're actually zoning in on those unique bits, right? Maybe not counterpoint. Maybe you are recognizing the pattern of what you've seen before, which is why you actually pick up those other bits. So maybe it's just a point to help prove your point then.
Yeah, because at that point you're looking for something to help slow it down. You're looking for something you didn't recognize before.
Right. So it's a purposeful act on your part. Well,
I think it's still self-conscious, but
I
think that's what we look for.
Yeah.
Humans like finding patterns.
Yeah.
And if we don't find patterns, we get bored.
No. I don't think that's the right way to... I think if anything, we would get bored of finding patterns.
New patterns?
No, we'd get bored of finding the same patterns.
Well, yeah.
Right. So like we wouldn't, we're not.
You can't find the same patterns. You already know the same patterns. You're recognizing them at that point.
Okay.
It's not a new discovery.
So it's just that's just a terminology argument then. Like what's meant by find by. Okay. Fair.
I mean,
I was okay. Fair enough. But brains are doing something because time is maybe not a thing. First off,
brains be doing something.
Potentially just a human construct, but who knows? Well, but also, what isn't a human construct? But
I'm having a real hard time not ruining another topic I have as a point to this. I'm just not going to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because no.
Okay.
It's different enough, but similar.
Okay. But you mentioned brains, and you laid out a couple of the big ones, and those are some real big ones for me. Those are some of my biggest fears: dementia and Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
Losing my capacity to think, function, remember, like that is some of the scariest shit to me when it comes to aging. I care less about losing motor function than I do brain function.
Well, I think that kind of makes sense. I mean, our sense of self, for a lot of people, sure, it could be their body. But us as intellectuals...
Fuck, don't do that.
No. I don't think it's like that. I think it's just less superficial. It's just... it still sounds pretentious. That's not it. I think that it's more true that your sense of self and who you are is the way you think.
Okay, yeah. I get that.
It's your beliefs and the way you think. And so the thought of losing that without control, not a shift, not a what's that thing? Not an ego death, okay, which is scary for its own reasons.
Sure.
But an actual uncontrollable loss of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's going to be scary.
Yeah. Fucking terrifying.
But at this point in time, it's potentially inevitable. So do you fear the inevitable?
It's not inevitable.
It's... right now it is. And I think that being afraid of it is going to actually speed it up. Because there's a lot of... stress is something that is completely mental, that has already been proven to aid the aging process and have numerous physical health effects. There are better ways to say that. I just really was trying to think of them.
No. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And so it's like...
I don't think losing your mental capacity is inevitable. Like, it may not be like, your memory may not be as good, right?
Sure.
Like your ability to pick up on fine details may not be as good, but like there's levels, right? Like being at the level of Alzheimer's and dementia is still much worse than just like, okay, my brain isn't functioning at peak capacity. Like we're already at a point where we can't learn languages as well. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah, that's true. But that runs out when you're like what, before 10,
something like that. Yeah. Young kids are really good at it because they have to be, and thank God we evolved to be that way. But then, like, as soon as you start aging, it's it gets harder and harder as you get older.
I guess it's more so like I think that fear is dangerous.
Okay.
I think that acknowledging it to some degree is going to happen, and instead, well, I think in general, a lot of people's issue is that instead of addressing problems, they fear them, and they sometimes acknowledge that it's going to happen. A lot of the time, don't. They're just afraid of it, so they outright block it out,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like
But
I think acceptance is easier, but at the same time, taking the right measures to help it not happen the way you don't want it to.
right, which is why, like, I can see fear as a motivator, right? Like the fear of reaching that state far off down the road is a motivator to do like whatever you can now and in the next hopefully couple decades to do little things to help. I don't know. Like it's not prevent because it's you can't prevent it, right? It's genetic. If it happens, it happens. You can't stop it, right? So in that sense, I do understand, not allowing yourself to be controlled by the fear of it, because for some people it is inevitable, right?
Right.
But I don't necessarily think there's a negative in allowing the fear to be used as a motivator, as long as you're actually like taking action based off of that fear and not being controlled by the fear.
I guess it's like levels of fear too.
Yeah, right.
I mean, how often do you think about it?
Not all the time, but like there's a mild concern, right? There's a like, when something happens and like little things potentially on the daily, but they're like it'll come and go, right? Sure. Like we had mentioned previously that you sometimes act like a sim, walking into a room forgetting why you get in there, right? Which it does not normally happen to me, but when it does and I recognize it, I'm like, ooh, okay, that sucks. Maybe my brain isn't working as good. Why am I trying in here? Or like when you're trying to remember something that you know.
Yeah.
And you may have just talked about it an hour ago or whatever, but your brain is just saying, no, we're not going to do that right now. Like there's little moments that could spark it, but it's not like a consistent, thing.
Well, it's tough because a lot of the things you're describing for me are likely just symptoms of my ADD.
Right.
Lapse in memory over time is a symptom of that because difficulty in focusing on things for long periods of time is harder to commit things to memory.
Fair.
Similarly, although non-diagnosed, although the longer I think about it, the more likely it's true, some kind of PTSD or form of traumatic events can also block memory and high amounts of stress, whether it's from a traumatic event or not, contributes to memory loss. So that's why it's like, okay, if you stress out over something a lot, are you kind of progressing the thing you don't want to happen?
Fair.
And then also, like, similarly, we're still learning a lot about it. I mean, they're saying a lot now, and this changes again frequently. I was talking to somebody about how sleep apnea and the lack of oxygen in the brain you get from snoring could contribute to early onset dementia.
Yikes.
Well, I've been telling you that for years. Don't tell me like you think it's new.
I know.
Freaking man's a bear.
I don't know what you mean.
not in that sense, or that sense, or that sense. He just snores real loud.
Yeah, that's the only sense. Really, it's just the only sense.
But like then I was talking to a friend, and they're like, "Well, actually, sleep apnea machines aren't good for you." And learning actually breathing correctly is better. And we're both a bit of full-figured fellas, and that's not really helping anything either.
No.
And so it's...
Yeah, everything's a factor, right? Diet's a factor, right? You know, like, yeah, sleep is a factor, right?
It's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know, every 5 years the study gets reversed. Oh, you know, you should have a glass of wine at dinner every night. Oh, you should only be drinking a glass of wine a week. You know what I mean? It's like, or like coffee. That's another one that's like changes all the time. There's always another study coming out whether or not like caffeine in small amounts is good for you, or you know. I feel like if you just go with everything in moderation is fine, as long as you don't over excise anything, then you're probably fine. But again, it's like, what are the actual benefits or negatives of all this shit that we're doing? You know?
Right, and some of them are easier to observe. Like, I mean, for me, I try not to drink coffee a lot. Part of it's because, like, I already have ADD meds. Mm-hmm. My amphetamine levels are off the fucking chart. I've seen them. I don't want to be addicted to caffeine.
Fair.
And I drink coffee every once in a while. And then it's nice to know that when I don't drink coffee, I'm not getting pounding headaches because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that can happen even in small degrees. There are plenty of people who drink a cup of coffee every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, like, our good buddy Cole.
He intakes a lot of caffeine.
And if he doesn't, he gets migraines.
Yes. Yes. Right. Because it's an addiction, right? Like, and he's feeling the negative effects of withdrawal from said addiction.
And so with the damned if you do or damned if you don't bit, a little morbid, but I go back to I was supposed to be dead at 18. I know. It's not real.
Yeah, you're not, though.
And I'm not.
You're not dead. You weren't supposed to be dead at 18.
But...
unless it was a different timeline.
But hear me out for a second.
Okay.
I'm moving on with the assumption that I could have been dead already.
Okay.
Not the, you know, I'm going to die in some miserable way, but if I do, I got a lot more years than I meant to.
Okay.
It sounds a little fucked up. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Yeah, we're not even 30, Rob.
I got it. Well, again, I set a low bar. It's hard to be disappointed with my expectations with such a low bar.
Fair. I don't know, man.
It gets you past some of it.
Probably. I feel like there's some people that would take a very hedonistic perspective after that. And be like, oh, I've lived longer than I should. I'm just going to fucking live it up and do whatever I want.
Yeah, I started swearing and drinking.
Well, there you go. Look at you. Look at your big transformation. But wait. Hold on. Actually, though.
You thought I was joking, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait. Is there a correlation there?
Not that I've ever thought of before.
Oh, okay. I refuse to say causation, but there might be a correlation there, huh?
Yeah, that didn't really start happening until after that point in time.
Well, college, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe age wasn't the factor. Maybe it was the change in your surroundings.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah, we don't fucking know.
No. Not to stay on that, though. But it's just... our perspective and how we handle things because of how strong our stupid brains control things.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And our brains are stupid.
They're
Let's reiterate.
so stupid.
Let's not let that one go by the wayside.
Like, God damn.
Sorry.
I know, it's true. It's just fear is a difficult concept to buy into.
Okay. This is gonna sound a little fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So, forgive me in advance.
Mm-hmm.
What if I tried to present it in a different way?
No, go for it.
We both know that fear isn't maybe it's not your strongest motivator.
No, we know what mine is.
Right. So to that end, would you feel any guilt about aging, potentially towards your family, your I'm not manifesting anything, but potential offspring. I'm not manifesting anything. I'm not I'm not manifesting anything. Down the line,
Mm-hmm.
potentially in the future, if you got to a point where you could not, either your body or your mind could not maintain its normal function, would you? I guess not in that state. Would you currently feel guilty that you're putting that pressure on your family to take care of you?
Probably. But if I make it that long, I did pretty good.
That's true.
No, but like in my limited experience dealing with people in that circumstance, my grandmother died of Alzheimer's, technically of pneumonia, but she literally forgot how to breathe right.
Mm-hmm.
She got to that point. And that's literally how it takes you apart. It's not you just forget things, you forget motor functions, which is insane as a concept. But she handled it pretty damn well. She didn't get angry with it, you know. By all rights, she was pretty pleasant. I mean, I wasn't my aunt who took care of her at the end.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm sure there were moments.
Sure.
But she wasn't overall angry. She still had time with people. She didn't always know who those people were.
Right.
So obviously, I don't want to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna die somehow.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be a vegetable. I also don't know if I want to lose my mind. I don't know which I'd rather have first. Probably neither.
Yeah, in the perfect world.
Fiery wreck, yeah.
No.
I don't
Viking
know.
funeral pyre?
Well, I'd already be dead, hopefully, at that
Well,
point.
maybe.
Oof.
Plane crash. Drowning would be probably the worst way to go. Aside from, like...
I heard drowning's really peaceful.
I don't believe that for a second.
I heard drowning is really peaceful.
What, from someone who died drowning?
Yeah, my dad died. Dad's drowned.
Well, he's alive.
Now.
He didn't die.
He came back.
He didn't die. I mean, okay, he died, right?
He drowned and said it was overall peaceful, so I don't know.
Okay. I don't think it would be.
Fire sounds worse.
Yes. Fire, water, both sound bad. In my opinion. I would not want to drown. Best way to die? In your sleep. Live a nice long life. No problems. Die in your sleep. Don't even know what happened.
I guess overall, I just haven't thought about getting that far, which is why it doesn't scare me as much.
That's fair.
It's not necessarily that I shouldn't be afraid of it. It's that I don't dwell on it, because I'll be surprised if I get there.
Okay. Fair enough.
Just throw yourself into more danger, Kev, and then worry about that.
See, here's the thing. You know,
you can be a vegetable young too,
I,
Kev.
you could be. I do not have as many dangerous experiences as you do. I have not jumped out of a plane, you know, and that's the tame one. But like, I don't know. Like even when I was younger, I always foresaw myself living a long life. I don't know. I had a goal. I guess I kind of do still have a goal. But I want to make it to 107.
So you live in 3 centuries?
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy concept.
I've been like for decades now. Well, at least a decade, probably a decade and a half. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I want to make it to 2100. Like, if it's January 1st, 2100, cool. You know what I mean? I want to make it, right? Even, I guess, 106 then. 106 will be fine. I don't have to make it to my birthday, right? But I think that would be cool. I always imagined myself having a longer life. And I think it was because, like, I was always told, well, on one side of the family, I was told, on one side of the family, we got good stock, you know?
But you live long?
Yeah. You know?
I'll say I've never gotten that. So that's probably also part of the issue.
Yeah, it's a culture. Well, not a culture. It's not. It's nurture. It's a nurture thing. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Which I guess is kind of. It's definitely genetics is part of it too. But
for sure.
Being told that your family lives long. I guess I have an expectation that I will also meet that at least. Like my great grandmother lived to like 99. I have other family members all went in their like mid to late 90s. Like we, I come from a family that lasts. and this was like, my great grandmother was 99. She died in the 1900s. So, so she was born in the 1800s and lived 99 years. You know what I mean? So like
that's all right.
That's some good stock. Some good genes there.
Yeah, I don't have that. My dad's dad died when he was 31.
Oof, you're running out of time.
I know. And his dad,
that's the next milestone.
And his dad died similarly the same age, all heart issues, unaddressed. Well, not properly addressed. It's a whole other thing.
Yes. Yep.
My grandfather on my mother's side died of leukemia. There was a point in college where I remember I thought both my parents could die soon. Very, very different things, but
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it was. I have not had.
I know Bob's been having heart problems too, so for years, stress and.
Yeah, but we've also talked about some things earlier in this podcast about maybe you should better address things that you are afraid of and could be affecting you.
Okay. Yeah. I agree.
As a good example.
Don't do that.
I was talking about Bob.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. But twist that shit out of me. I saw it.
No.
I saw it in your eyes.
Kevin, I would never.
I saw it in...
Kevin, I would never.
I've known you long enough. But no, yeah. I agree that Bob needs to address those things better than how he is currently.
But to your point, I haven't had that impression put on me.
Mm-hmm. Fair. So 18's not bad.
18's not bad.
28, 29.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
No, it's something I think a lot of people are afraid of. I think the trick is what you do with it.
Yes. I 100% agree. How you react to it and what you actually do to... I keep wanting to say prevent, but that's not the right word. Right? Because you can't prevent the inevitable. But it's not. Some parts of it are inevitable. Some parts aren't. Right? Like my previous argument. But
I think
increase your chances of not maybe.
Right.
Is the best way to phrase it.
I'm gonna go back to the patterns thing. Actually.
Okay.
If you keep changing things up, it feels like you're aging slower. And honestly, that might not be that bad a method to stay younger longer. If you think about it, okay, Billy,
you're gonna have to go into this one a little bit.
Billy Joel song, "Only the Good Die Young."
Yeah.
I've always liked that song.
It's a good song.
But it's interesting, right? Because I hear a lot of assholes who have done a lot of things that they should not still be alive, and they're the ones who live the freaking longest.
Okay.
And it's maybe because they've done a bunch of bullshit that they never fell into a pattern.
So you're setting yourself up for success.
Not purposefully.
Rob, if anything, I think you might need to change your mindset, and that, you're going to be around for a long time. The universe is not done toying with you yet.
Yeah, fuck. Maybe I wish to be Wolverine for too much.
Yeah.
It's keeping me alive in the worst kind of way. I don't know. I am not a doctor or very smart, but I think there might be something to the idea of keep changing things up.
Keep yourself guessing.
Yeah.
In a sense. Don't be afraid to try new things. Always doing something different.
You can learn things when you're old. Actually, that is also supposed to help some of those memory loss issues.
Yeah. So as all of the other things we mentioned that I'm not doing, like exercise,
I don't do that.
A better diet, like all of those things that make a healthy human.
You drink a lot of water, Kev.
That's true. I sweat a lot because I'm overweight.
No, because you drink a lot of water, Kev. Me too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I do drink a lot of water, but because I sweat a lot because I'm overweight. There's negative things there that cause me to do something that's good for me, which I don't know if that's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing for shitty reasoning, which really kind of sums up this whole thing.
Okay.
Because if, right, as I mentioned before, if you use the shitty reason of fear of aging to do good things now.
But only if you do, though.
If you actually do that. Right.
Yeah.
If you actually do the good things now to better yourself now and continue to do that, because, you can't, there's no short-term solution to any of this bullshit.
Not that we know of.
Not yet. We got at least another 25, 50 years.
Or if we're doing the short-term solution, we're not going to get the payoff until we already don't know.
True. That sucks. But at least, even if it's a negative motivator, if you're seeing positive change and good results and you're doing things that are keeping your brain on its toes? Yeah,
that was the thing I thought of too.
On its stem.
I don't like that. I was gonna say I don't hate it. No, I do.
Yeah, because if you're keeping it, those are all your primal shit.
I want to keep my brain in its head.
That's like hunger and sex, right?
Oh, in your cerebral cortex? Is that what it's called?
It's
I think so.
The back. Yeah, it's that's like hunger and sex, and then this is decision making.
I think you're oversimplifying the brain a bit.
Nope.
But
the back is the animal shit. The front is what makes us more human.
Especially because I'm pretty sure hearing is somewhere right in the middle.
Sure.
But whatever.
Sure, but the very front.
The very front
is decision making.
There's nothing in between the very front and the very back.
No. What else do you do except hunger and sex and think? Like, those are the three functions of the brain.
Okay.
Decision making.
Okay. No, Kev. You just got to keep doing those three things, and you're fine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Fuck. Fuck, because I'm not fucked. I couldn't not. It was too perfect of a line. You could eat something. No.
Yeah, I could go for a sandwich.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thank you for being here and listening to this pleasant chat.
Oh, he's definitely not talking to me.
No. Where we just, debated aging and brains and
shit. They probably think I'm crazy, and they're like, "Yeah, what the hell was his answers?" Kevin's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
We should be afraid of dying.
Yeah, it's okay though. I mean, we should not be afraid of dying. We should not be. Okay.
I mean, maybe a little.
The normal amount. We should not be overly afraid of dying.
Yeah. Okay.
And we shouldn't be overly afraid of how we die or how we are before we die. But there's a little bit there.
Yeah, but
it's okay to have a little bit there.
Yeah, but if you think about it and you think how you're probably going to die, maybe avoid those things.
Yeah. And if you have a premonition you're only going to live till you're 18, ignore it. Because you're probably going to live longer.
If you're listening to this, you're probably well past that.
Hopefully.
I don't know what our target audience is.
Hopefully. But anyways, thank you for listening and putting up with this.
This.
And as always, we love you.
He does.